The Galactic Council chamber had never been so crowded. Every seat was filled, and thousands more aliens watched through video links from across the galaxy. Representatives from species that rarely spoke to each other now sat side by side, united by their shared fear of the Vorthak threat. Kim Day stood at the entrance, watching the chaos inside. Aliens argued loudly in dozens of languages. Some demanded immediate surrender to save their worlds. Others called for a final, desperate battle. A few simply sat in stunned silence, too scared to speak. "Sir," Park Soo whispered, "are you ready for this?" Day adjusted his uniform one final time. Hidden beneath his formal jacket was a small communication device that would let him coordinate with human forces throughout the galaxy. After today, there would be no more secrets. "I've been ready for this my entire career," he replied. They walked into the chamber together. As Day took his place on the speaking platform, the noise gradually died down. High Arbiter Veltanis floated above the crowd, its glowing form dimmer than usual, showing its exhaustion and stress. "Fellow beings," Veltanis announced, "we have reached the deadline set by the Vorthak Empire. Each species must now declare their position. Will you pay tribute or will you resist?" One by one, alien leaders stood to speak. The results were depressing. The bird-like avians voted for surrender. The plant-like botanics wanted to negotiate. Even proud species like the Aquatic Alliance seemed ready to give up. Only General Krax of the Draconians voted for war. "My people will never bow to these murderers," he roared. "We will fight alone if necessary." "And you will die alone," Chancellor Zix-9 replied coldly. Logic demands survival over pride. The chamber erupted in arguments again. Day watched it all with growing disgust. These were the species that had ruled the galaxy for millennia, and they were ready to surrender without even trying to fight. Finally, High Arbiter Veltanis called for quiet. "Human representative, your 72 hours have expired." "What is Earth's decision?" Day stood up slowly. The chamber fell completely silent. Even the aliens who had been arguing stopped to listen. He could feel thousands of eyes watching him, hoping for some miracle that would save them all. "Honored delegates," he began, his voice carrying clearly through the vast space. "Humanity has carefully considered the Vorthak threat. We appreciate the Council's concern for galactic peace." Disappointed murmurs began to ripple through the crowd. They thought he was about to announce Earth's surrender. However, Day continued and the murmurs stopped. "We must respectfully decline the Council's suggestion of submission to the Vorthak Empire." The chamber exploded. Thousands of aliens began shouting at once. Some called him insane. Others begged him to reconsider. Chancellor Zix-9's circuits flashed angry red as it calculated the odds of human survival. High Arbiter Veltanis struggled to restore order. "Ambassador Day, surely you understand the hopelessness of resistance. The Vorthak have destroyed every force sent against them. With respect, High Arbiter, they have never faced a properly coordinated defense." "Properly coordinated?" squawked Merchant Prince Kalani. "What coordination can humans provide? You have a dozen worlds and a handful of trading ships." Day smiled. "Prince Kalani, I'm afraid our previous diplomatic statements may have been incomplete." He activated his communication device. "General Kang Wu, please join us." The chamber's main screen flickered to life. A human military officer appeared, standing on the bridge of what was clearly a warship. But this ship looked nothing like the simple cargo vessels the aliens had seen humans use before. "Greetings, Galactic Council," General Kang Wu said. "I am transmitting from the HSV Indomitable, flagship of the 3rd Human Defense Fleet." The camera pulled back to show the ship's bridge. It was huge, filled with advanced technology that made even Syntheon computers look primitive. Through the bridge windows, the aliens could see other ships in formation, sleek, deadly vessels that seemed to bend light around them. "Third Fleet?" Chancellor Zix-9 processed this information rapidly. "How many fleets do humans possess?" "The Defense Forces currently maintain 12 active fleet commands," General Kang Wu replied casually. "Each fleet consists of approximately 200 vessels of various classes." The chamber fell dead silent. Even the most advanced alien species rarely fielded more than 50 ships in a single fleet. Humans were claiming to have over 2,000 warships. "Impossible," breathed Yun Sera. "We have monitored human space for decades. You could not hide such forces." Day nodded to General Kang Wu, who began manipulating controls on his ship. The chamber's displays changed to show a three-dimensional map of known space. But this map was different from any the aliens had seen before. Where the Council believed humans controlled 12 systems, the display now showed over 200 worlds connected by a vast network of hyperspace routes. Defense stations orbited every planet. Fleet bases protected every major shipping lane. The entire human territory was revealed as one enormous, interconnected fortress. Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of all classifications, Day announced, I present to you the true scope of human civilization. Pandemonium erupted. Aliens leaped from their seats shouting in disbelief. High Arbiter. Veltanus's glow flickered wildly as it tried to process this revelation. Even General Crack seemed stunned by the scope of human military power. This is not possible. Chancellor Zix-9 stammered, its logical circuits overloading. Our intelligence networks would have detected such expansion. Your intelligence network saw exactly what we wanted them to see, Day replied. For 150 years, humanity has been preparing for threats like the Vorthak. We learned early that in a dangerous galaxy, the wise species build strength in secret. General Kang Wu continued the presentation. To demonstrate our capabilities, we will now conduct a live weapons test. All vessels in the Kepler system, please clear the area around the uninhabited fourth planet. The display switched to show a barren world orbiting a distant star. Several alien observation ships were visible near the planet, having moved to a safe distance at the general's warning. Firing quantum tunnel torpedo, Kang Wu announced. On the screen, the humans could see one of their ships, a sleek cruiser that looked small and harmless. There was a brief flash of light from its hull. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the planet simply ceased to exist. Where a world had been seconds before, there was now only expanding gas and debris. The aliens watching gasped in shock. Even their most powerful weapons took time to destroy a planet. The humans had done it instantly with a single shot. The quantum tunnel warhead phases through normal space-time, General Kang Wu explained calmly. It bypasses all known forms of shielding and armor. The target is destroyed from within by controlled antimatter detonation. High Arbiter Veltanus finally managed to speak. How long have you possessed such weapons? Our current generation of warships has been in service for 30 years, Day replied. We've been continuously upgrading our technology based on observations of galactic conflicts. Captain Nam Yu appeared on another screen. She was a confident woman standing on the bridge of a different human ship. Admiral Li Jun has asked me to provide tactical analysis of the current Vorthak threat. The display changed to show detailed intelligence about Vorthak forces. Ship positions, fleet movements, supply lines, command structures. Information that would have taken the aliens months to gather, if they could gather it at all. Our intelligence services have been monitoring Vorthak activities since they first appeared, Captain Nam Yu continued. We know their battle plans, their weaknesses, and their command protocols. They are preparing to attack 7 sectors simultaneously in approximately 30 hours. 30 hours? Yunsera's glow brightened with alarm. But they said we had more time. The Vorthak never intended to honor their deadline, Day explained. They want to catch their enemies unprepared. Fortunately, we have been preparing for this exact scenario. Admiral Jiang Yu joined the presentation from yet another human warship. Human defense forces are already moving into position. Our stealth technology has allowed us to deploy fleets throughout Vorthak-threatened sectors without being detected. The tactical display showed the true scope of human preparations. While the aliens had been debating surrender, human fleets had quietly surrounded every major Vorthak formation. The enemy was walking into a carefully prepared trap. We offer the Galactic Council a choice, Day announced. Stand with humanity against the Vorthak threat, or stand aside while we handle it ourselves. General Krax was the first to respond. The massive Draconian stood and roared his approval. The Draconian Empire stands with humanity. Finally, beings with the courage to fight. Yunsera's glowing form pulsed thoughtfully. The Ethereal Collective. We'll consider this development carefully. But it was Merchant Prince Kalani who asked the question everyone was thinking. Ambassador Day, if humans possess such power, why did you hide it? Why pretend to be weak? Day looked around the chamber at the thousands of alien faces staring at him. Some showed fear, others hope, and a few displayed the beginnings of anger as they realized how thoroughly they had been deceived. Because Prince Kalani, showing strength too early makes you a target. We needed time to understand the galaxy, to identify potential allies. The first phase of the battle began in silence. Across 7 sectors of the galaxy, human stealth ships moved like ghosts through Vorthak fleet formations. The enemy never saw them coming. Kimday watched from the command center of the HSV Soul's Pride as quantum disruption devices activated throughout Vorthak space. On the tactical display, red enemy markers suddenly began blinking as their faster-than-light communications failed. "Disruption field is active," reported Commander Onai from her reconnaissance ship. "Enemy fleets are now isolated from each other." Admiral Zhang Yu nodded grimly. "Begin Phase 2. All battle groups engage your primary targets." What followed was the most coordinated military action in galactic history. While Vorthak commanders tried desperately to understand why their communications had failed, human fleets materialized from hyperspace around their command ships. The HSV Indomitable led the attack on Warlord Grextar's flagship. General Kang Wu's voice came through the communication system as his ship engaged the massive Vorthak dreadnought. Target acquired, charging quantum tunnel weapons. The Death's Crown was an impressive ship over 5 kilometers long and bristling with enough weapons to destroy entire planets. But its size made it an easy target for human precision weapons. "Firing," General Kang Wu announced. The quantum tunnel torpedo phased through normal space, bypassing the Vorthak ship's shields and armor. It materialized inside the enemy vessel's command center and detonated. The Death's Crown broke apart in a brilliant flash of light, taking Warlord Grextar and his entire command staff with it. "Primary target eliminated," General Kang Wu reported. Moving to secondary objectives, similar scenes played out across the galaxy. Human ships appeared without warning, destroyed Vorthak command vessels with single shots, and vanished back into hyperspace before the enemy could respond. In less than 2 hours, the Vorthak invasion force had lost its entire leadership structure. "Phase 2 complete," Admiral Zhang Yu announced. "All enemy command ships have been destroyed." Beginning Phase 3. Now came the moment when human allies proved their worth. Draconian warships charged into battle with fierce joy, their crews roaring ancient war songs as they engaged scattered Vorthak vessels. Ethereal ships used their psychic abilities to coordinate attacks, guiding allied forces to vulnerable enemy positions. Fleet Commander Bei Sun led the attack on the Vorthak stronghold in the Centauri sector. Her ship, the HSV Harmony, demonstrated human phase shift technology by attacking from impossible angles. "Activating dimensional phase drive," she reported. Shifting to parallel space. The human ship simply vanished from normal space, reappearing inside the enemy formation. Vorthak gunners fired frantically at empty space while human weapons struck from directions that shouldn't exist. Admiral Yun Ha coordinated the defense of the ethereal homeworld, where a massive Vorthak fleet had expected to find easy victims. Instead, they found combined human and ethereal forces working in perfect harmony. "The ethereals are providing telepathic coordination," she reported to the command center. "Our response time has improved by 30%. The alien observers aboard the Soul's Pride watched in amazement as the battle unfolded. Species that had been at war with each other for centuries now fought, side by side under human leadership. "Incredible," breathed Yunsera. "I have never seen such coordination. Between different civilizations, humans appear to be natural leaders," Chancellor Zix-9 observed, its circuits humming as it processed battle data. "They understand how to combine the strengths of multiple species." General Krax laughed with savage pleasure as he watched draconian and human ships working together. "Finally, a species that knows how to fight properly." But the most impressive victory came at Kepler's Gate, where Admiral Li Jun himself led the combined fleet. The Vorthak had sent their largest force here, expecting to break through to the core worlds of the Galactic Council. "Enemy fleet consists of over 800 vessels," Admiral Li Jun reported. "They appear to be attempting a final coordinated assault." Admiral Zhang Yu responded, "You are authorized to demonstrate the full capabilities of human military technology." "Understood." Activating Project Deep Strike. What happened next would be talked about for centuries. The human fleet began moving in patterns that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Ships phased in and out of normal space, appeared in multiple locations simultaneously, and fired weapons that bent the fabric of reality itself. "Quantum tunnel barrage. Full spread," Admiral Li Jun ordered. The human fleet fired hundreds of torpedoes that phased through space-time itself. Each weapon materialized inside a different Vorthak ship and detonated simultaneously. In 30 seconds, the largest enemy fleet ever assembled simply ceased to exist. All enemy vessels destroyed, Admiral Lee Jun reported calmly. No human casualties. The silence in the command center was deafening. Even the aliens who had seen human weapons demonstrations were stunned by this display of overwhelming technological superiority. The battle is over, Admiral Zhang Yu announced. All Vorthak fleets have been eliminated or have surrendered. Total engagement time, 4 hours and 17 minutes. Park Su looked at the tactical display in disbelief. The red markers representing Vorthak forces were gone. In their place were blue and yellow markers showing human and allied ships securing liberated territories. "Sir," she whispered to Day, "we actually did it. We won." "We did more than win," Day replied, watching as surrender messages poured in from scattered Vorthak survivors. "We showed the galaxy what's possible when civilized species work together." The aftermath was swift and decisive. Surviving Vorthak commanders, faced with the complete destruction of their invasion force, agreed to immediate surrender. The few enemy ships that tried to escape were hunted down by Allied fleets working under human coordination. 3 days later, Kim Day stood once again before the Galactic Council. But this time the chamber was filled with hope instead of fear. Representatives who had been ready to surrender now spoke of rebuilding and cooperation. "The Vorthak threat has been eliminated," he announced to thunderous applause. "Their surviving forces have agreed to withdraw to their original territory and pay reparations for their crimes." High Arbiter Veltanis floated above the crowd, its glow brighter than ever. "Ambassador Day, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I must ask, what does humanity want in return for saving us all?" Day had been expecting this question. "High Arbiter, humanity wants what we have always wanted, a galaxy where different species can live together in peace. We ask only for the friendship of those we have helped to save." "And if that friendship is refused?" Chancellor Zix-9 asked pointedly. "Then humanity will continue to protect those who need protection," Day replied. "But we hope that won't be necessary." Over the following months, the galaxy transformed. Species that had barely spoken to each other for millennia now worked together on reconstruction projects. Trade flourished as new hyperspace routes opened up liberated territories. Scientific cooperation advanced at an unprecedented pace. But perhaps most importantly, the Galactic Council itself evolved. Instead of a loose alliance of scared civilizations, it became a true federation with humanity providing military leadership and coordination. 6 months after the Great Victory, Day received a priority message in his office on Nexus Station. Intelligence reports indicated new threats gathering on the galactic rim. Unknown species with technologies that might challenge even human capabilities. He smiled as he read the data. The old Kim Day might have been worried about such news, but that was before humanity had revealed its true strength to the galaxy. "Park Su," he called to his aide. "Set up a meeting with Admiral Zhang Yu. It looks like we have new friends to make on the frontier." "New friends, sir?" "Every threat is an opportunity to prove our value to our allies," Day explained. "And every victory makes the galaxy a little more united." He looked out his office window at the busy traffic around Nexus Station. Human ships flew alongside vessels from dozens of other species, all working together to build a better future. The age of human leadership had truly begun. And this time, when danger threatened the galaxy, it wouldn't face that danger alone. "Besides," he added with a grin, "humanity has always done its best work when someone needs our help." The HSV Soul's Pride was unlike any ship the alien delegates had ever seen. From the outside, it looked like a sleek silver arrow stretching over 2 kilometers long. Inside, it was a floating city filled with the most advanced technology in known space. Kim Day walked through the ship's corridors with a group of alien observers. After his shocking revelation to the Galactic Council, everything had changed. Species that had been ready to surrender were now eager to fight. Others were demanding to see proof that humanity could actually defeat the Vorthak. "This way, honored guests," Day said, leading them toward the ship's main command center. Behind him walked representatives from a dozen different species. General Crack stomped along on his massive clawed feet, excited to finally see real military preparation. Yunsera floated beside him, her ethereal glow brighter now that she had hope. Even Chancellor Zix-9 had come, its circuits humming as it tried to analyze human technology. The command center doors opened to reveal a vast chamber filled with holographic displays and control stations. Human officers worked quietly at their posts, coordinating operations across multiple star systems. Admiral Jiang Yu stood at the center of it all, a calm presence directing the galaxy's largest military operation. "Admiral," Day announced, "our allies would like to see how we plan to defeat the Vorthak." Admiral Jiang Yu turned and bowed politely to the alien guests. "Of course. Welcome aboard the Soul's Pride. I hope you'll find our preparations adequate." The main display activated, showing the entire galaxy in 3 dimensions. Red markers showed Vorthak fleet positions. Blue markers showed human forces. Yellow markers indicated allied ships from species that had agreed to join the fight. "The Vorthak are using a 7-pronged attack strategy," Admiral Jiang Yu explained. "They believe this will spread our forces too thin to mount effective resistance. They are correct about traditional defensive tactics." General Crack studied the display with professional interest. "How do you plan to counter such numbers? Even with your hidden fleets, they have more ships." "General, human military doctrine doesn't rely on matching enemy numbers. We use superior coordination, better intelligence, and technological advantages to defeat larger forces." Commander Onai stepped forward. She was a young woman who looked barely old enough to command a single ship. But Day knew she was one of humanity's best tactical minds. "We've divided our response into 3 phases," she explained. "Phase 1 involves disrupting their command and control systems. Phase 2 eliminates their ability to coordinate multiple fleet actions. Phase 3 destroys their scattered forces before they can regroup." "Show them the reconnaissance data," Admiral Jiang Yu ordered. The display changed to show detailed information about Vorthak ships and bases. The aliens gasped as they saw intelligence that their own spy networks could never have gathered. "How did you obtain this information?" Chancellor Zix-9 asked, its circuits flashing with curiosity. Commander Onai smiled. "We've had agents observing Vorthak operations for over a year. They think their communications are secure, but human computer systems are more advanced than they realize. Phase 1 begins in 6 hours, Admiral Jiang Yu continued. Human stealth ships will infiltrate Vorthak fleet formations and deploy quantum disruption devices. These will interfere with their FTL communication systems." Yunsera's glow pulsed with understanding. "Without faster-than-light communication, their separated fleets cannot coordinate." "Exactly. Each Vorthak commander will be fighting blind, unaware of what's happening in other sectors." The display showed the positions of human infiltration teams. Tiny stealth ships were already moving toward Vorthak fleets, invisible to enemy sensors but clearly marked on human tracking systems. General Krax growled approvingly. "A bold plan? But what happens when they adapt?" "The Vorthak learn quickly from their defeats." "Which brings us to Phase 2, Commander Onai replied. "While their communications are disrupted, our main battle fleets will engage their command ships. We've identified the key vessels that coordinate each attack group." The display highlighted specific Vorthak ships, including the massive flagship Death's Crown, where Warlord Grextar commanded the entire invasion force. "Human quantum tunnel weapons can penetrate their shields and armor," Admiral Jiang Yu explained. "We will eliminate their command structure before they understand what's happening." "And Phase 3? Merchant Prince Kalani asked, her butterfly wings fluttering nervously. "Mop-up operations. With their leadership destroyed and their communications disrupted, the remaining Vorthak forces will be scattered and confused. Our allied fleets will help us hunt down survivors." Admiral Jiang Yu gestured to the yellow markers on the display. "The Draconian Empire has contributed 50 warships. The Ethereal Collective is providing psychic reconnaissance. The Traders Alliance has offered fast courier ships for communication. What about the other species?" Yunsera asked. "Many council members are still afraid to fight." "Fear is understandable," Day replied diplomatically. "But those who stand with us today will be remembered as the founders of a new galactic alliance." The display changed to show real-time fleet movements. Human ships were moving into position throughout the galaxy, their stealth systems making them invisible to Vorthak sensors. Allied vessels were taking supporting positions, ready to assist once the main battle began. "Commander Onai will be leading our reconnaissance forces," Admiral Jiang Yu announced. Her team has spent months mapping Vorthak defensive patterns. Commander Onai activated a smaller display showing her ship, the HSV Silent Hunter. "We've identified weaknesses in their sensor networks. Vorthak ships are powerful but predictable. They rely on overwhelming force rather than tactical flexibility. That's been their strength against other species, General Krax observed. Most civilizations panic when faced with superior numbers. Humans don't panic, Commander Onai replied simply. We adapt. Intelligence Officer Hanbo appeared on a communication screen from his position near Vorthak space. Admiral, I'm receiving the latest enemy communications. They're still confident of easy victory. Warlord Grextar is boasting that the final battle will last less than 1 day. Let him boast, Admiral Zhang Yu said grimly. In 6 hours, he'll discover that humanity has been preparing for this day for decades. The alien observers watched as human officers made final preparations. Orders flowed smoothly through the command hierarchy. Ship captains reported ready status. Intelligence updates arrived from agents throughout Vorthak territory. I must ask, Chancellor Zix-9 said, its logical circuits working overtime. Why are humans willing to risk so much for other species? Your hidden strength could have kept Earth safe regardless of what happened to the rest of us. Day considered the question carefully. Chancellor, humans learned long ago that isolation is not true safety. The Vorthak would have come for us eventually. Better to fight them now alongside allies than face them alone later. There's more to it than that, Admiral Zhang Yu added. Humans believe that strength comes with responsibility. We have the power to stop the Vorthak, so we have the duty to act. Yun Sera's glow pulsed thoughtfully. You could have revealed your capabilities gradually, built trust over time. Why take such a dramatic risk? Because dramatic times require dramatic actions, Day replied. The galaxy needed to see that resistance was possible. Fear was spreading faster than the Vorthak fleets. Sometimes hope needs to arrive all at once. Admiral Zhang Yu checked his chronometer. Honored guests, I'm afraid we must ask you to return to your observation positions. The operation begins in 4 hours, and this ship will be entering combat. As the alien delegates prepared to leave, General Krax approached Day privately. Human diplomat, my people have fought many battles. I recognize true warriors when I see them. Your species will make formidable allies, or formidable enemies, Chancellor Zix-9 added quietly. I calculate that no species in the galaxy could stand against humanity if you chose conquest over cooperation. Day nodded seriously. Which is why we chose cooperation, Chancellor. Power without restraint destroys both the wielder and the target. As the aliens departed for their safe observation ships, Park Su approached her ambassador. Sir, are you worried about the battle? Dee looked around the command center one last time. Human officers worked with calm efficiency, preparing to face the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known. These were people who had trained their entire lives for this moment. Su, I've seen what humanity can do when we're properly motivated. The Vorthak made a critical error when they threatened innocent civilizations. They're about to learn that humans fight hardest when we're protecting others. Admiral Zhang Yu's voice echoed through the ship's communication system. All hands prepare for combat operations. In 3 hours, we will show the galaxy what human determination can accomplish. Today we fight not just for humanity, but for the freedom of all civilized species. The bridge crew responded with quiet professionalism. Each officer focused on their duties. Outside the ship's windows, stars glittered peacefully, giving no hint of the massive battle that was about to reshape the galaxy forever. The journey back to Nexus Station took 18 hours, but Kim Day used every minute wisely. While Park Su worked on preparing diplomatic documents, Day studied files on every major alien leader in the Galactic Council. He needed to know who could become humanity's allies and who might become future threats. Their ship docked at the station just as the second shift was beginning. The corridors were busy with aliens from dozens of species, all moving with the nervous energy of people facing possible extinction. Day noticed that many wore weapons now, something that would have been forbidden in the council chambers just days ago. Sir, Park Su whispered as they walked. Intelligence Officer Hanbo sent a coded message. He's been monitoring alien communications. Day nodded. Hanbo was one of their best agents, a quiet man who could blend into any crowd and speak a dozen alien languages. Where is he? Observation Deck 7. He says it's important. They found Hanbo watching the stars through a massive window. He looked like any other human diplomat. But Day knew the man had spent years infiltrating alien societies. His information had helped humanity prepare for this moment. Ambassador, Hanbo said without turning around. The Vorthak fleet is bigger than the Council knows. I intercepted their battle plans 20 minutes ago. He handed Day a datapad. The screen showed tactical information that would have terrified the alien leaders. The Vorthak had over 3,000 warships divided into 7 attack fleets. Each fleet was targeting a different sector of free space. They planned to attack simultaneously, Hanbo explained. While the Council debates surrender, the Vorthak are positioning for a final assault that will crush all resistance in a single, coordinated strike. Park Sue looked pale. When? 48 hours from now. They're not waiting for the Council's answer. Day studied the battle plans carefully. The Vorthak strategy was clever but predictable. They relied on fear and overwhelming numbers, expecting their enemies to panic and scatter. It was exactly the kind of thinking that humanity had learned to exploit. What about their command structure? Day asked. Centralized, Hanbo replied. Warlord Grextar commands from his flagship, the Death's Crown. All fleet movements are coordinated through his ship. If we could disable their communications, the entire attack would fall apart, Day finished. He smiled. The Vorthak had just revealed their greatest weakness. Good work, Hanbo. Keep monitoring their transmissions. I want to know every move they make. Over the next several hours, Day began the most important diplomatic mission of his career. Instead of calling for official meetings, he arranged private conversations with key alien leaders. He needed to plant seeds of hope while gathering intelligence about potential allies. His first meeting was with Yun Sera, an ethereal who served as cultural advisor to High Arbiter Veltanis. Unlike most ethereals, she had spent time studying other species and understood the value of cooperation. They met in her private chambers, a room filled with floating crystals that hummed with soft music. Yunsera appeared as a gentle glow shaped roughly like a tall, thin woman. Ambassador Day, she said, her voice echoing directly in his mind. I sense you are not as worried as the other council members. Do you know something we do not? Day chose his words carefully. I believe that every crisis creates opportunities. The Vorthak threat is real, but it has also shown us who our true friends are. And who are humanity's true friends? Those who value cooperation over conquest. Those who build rather than destroy. He paused. The ethereal collective has always been wise. I hope that wisdom will guide you in the coming days. Yunsera's glow brightened slightly. You speak in riddles, human. But I sense you have hope where others see only despair. That is interesting. His next meeting was with Merchant Prince Kalani, leader of the Traders' Alliance. The alliance controlled dozens of commercial worlds and had the galaxy's largest civilian fleet. Kalani looked like a giant butterfly with golden wings and jeweled eyes. Ambassador, Kalani sang in her musical voice. Trade has been suffering terribly since the Vorthak attacks began. My people are losing fortunes every day. Prince Kalani, I understand your concerns. But consider this. After the Vorthak threat is dealt with, there will be enormous opportunities for those who chose the right side. Her wing patterns shifted to show interest. What do you mean? Rebuilding destroyed worlds. Establishing new trade routes. Providing supplies to liberation fleets. Day leaned forward. The species that helps defeat the Vorthak will be in an excellent position to profit from the peace that follows. And humans would remember such friendship? Humans have long memories for both kindness and betrayal. The most difficult conversation was with General Krax of the Draconian Empire. The massive lizard warrior met Day in a training hall where young Draconians practiced combat techniques. The sound of clashing weapons echoed off the walls. Human, Krax growled. My people are born warriors, but even we cannot stand against the Vorthak hordes alone. Do your people have the stomach for real battle? General, humans have been fighting wars for thousands of years. We understand that sometimes peace can only be protected through strength. Pretty words, but words do not stop enemy missiles. Krax's tail lashed angrily. The Maxillians spoke of honor and courage. Now they are dead. The Maxillians fought bravely but alone. What if they had fought as part of a coordinated alliance? What if they had better intelligence about enemy positions? What if they had weapons designed specifically to counter Vorthak technology? Krax stopped pacing and stared at Day. You speak as if such things were possible. Many things are possible. General, for those who plan ahead, between meetings, Day received regular updates from Hanbo. The intelligence officer had infiltrated Vorthak communications and was providing a steady stream of valuable information. The enemy fleet movements, their supply lines, their command protocols, everything humanity needed to plan the perfect counterattack. But the most important discovery came late in the day. Hanbo found Day in his temporary quarters with news that changed everything. "Ambassador, I've been analyzing the Vorthak battle plans in detail. Their strategy has a fatal flaw. Tell me. They're dividing their forces to attack multiple targets simultaneously. Each attack fleet will be operating independently after the initial assault begins. If we could disrupt their coordination during the critical first phase, the entire offensive would collapse," Day said. "Scattered Vorthak fleets would be vulnerable to defeat in detail." Hanbo nodded. "But it would require precise timing and forces positioned in exactly the right places." Day smiled. Humanity had been preparing for exactly this scenario for decades. While other species focused on single-system defense or massive fleet engagements, human strategists had developed tactics for multi-front warfare. "Hanbo, send a coded message to Fleet Admiral Li Jun. Tell him that the pieces are falling into place. The aliens are scared but willing to fight if they have leadership. The enemy is powerful but overconfident, and we have the intelligence we need to turn their strength against them. What about revealing our capabilities?" "Tomorrow," Day decided. "I'll address the full council tomorrow and show them what humanity can do. But tonight, make sure our people understand the stakes. We get one chance to surprise the Vorthak. After that, they'll adapt and become much more dangerous." As Hanbo left to send his messages, Dai looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, Vorthak fleets were moving toward their targets, confident of easy victory. Alien leaders were spending their final hours in fear and desperation. And human ships were quietly taking positions for the battle that would reshape the galaxy. Tomorrow, the Galactic Council would learn that their newest members were also their greatest hope for survival. The age of human leadership was about to begin. Earth looked beautiful from space just as it always did. Blue oceans, white clouds, and green continents spinning slowly beneath the stars. But Kim Day knew that what lay beneath that peaceful surface would shock every alien in the galaxy. Their ship landed at Seoul megacity's diplomatic port. The city stretched for hundreds of kilometers, its towers reaching into the sky. Millions of people lived and worked here, but most aliens thought Earth's population was much smaller. That was exactly what humanity wanted them to think. "Sir," Park Soo said as they walked through the busy terminal. "The car is waiting. Fleet Admiral Li Jun is expecting us at Strategic Command." The ride through the city took 30 minutes. Day watched the streets below through the flying car's windows. Normal people going about their lives, buying food, going to work, laughing with friends. None of them knew that their world was about to change forever. Strategic Defense Command was hidden beneath the city. The building looked like any other government office from the outside, but Day and Park Soo took a special elevator that went down 50 floors underground. The real headquarters was buried deep in the Earth's crust, protected by shields that could stop planet-killing weapons. Fleet Admiral Li Jun was waiting for them in the main briefing room. He was a tall man with gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. Beside him sat Defense Minister Choi Hana, a woman who looked friendly but commanded the most powerful military force in known space. "Day," Li Jun said, standing to shake his hand. "How bad is it out there?" "Worse than we expected, Admiral. The Council is ready to surrender without a fight. Most of their military leaders are either dead or too scared to act." Choi Hana frowned. "What about their fleets?" "Our intelligence report suggested they had significant forces. They do have ships, but no coordination. No real strategy. The Vorthak have been picking them off one by one." Day sat down at the table. "The Ethereals are talking about negotiation. The Synthions want to calculate the odds of survival. The Draconians want to fight but have no plan beyond charging straight at the enemy." Li Jun activated the room's holographic display. A three-dimensional map of the galaxy appeared in the air above the table. Red dots showed Vorthak-controlled systems. Yellow dots marked areas under attack. Blue dots represented the remaining free worlds. "The Vorthak have expanded faster than our models predicted," the Admiral said. "They now control over 60 systems and show no signs of stopping." "That's because they're smart," said a new voice. Dr. Song Min entered the room carrying a data pad. She was the head of advanced weapons research and one of the few people who knew all of humanity's secrets. "We've been monitoring their tactics for months. They don't just conquer worlds, they absorb the technology and resources of every species they defeat." Park Soo leaned forward. "Absorb how?" They're adaptive learners, Dr. Song explained.
Every time they fight a new species, they study their weapons and tactics.
Then they improve their own forces. That's why they keep getting stronger, Choi Hana nodded grimly, which is why we've been so careful to hide our true capabilities. If the Vorthak knew what humans could really do, they would have targeted us first. Day thought about the scared aliens at the council meeting. Minister, I think it's time to show them what we've built. Li Jun pressed a button on the table. The room's walls became transparent, revealing the command center beyond. Hundreds of officers worked at glowing consoles, coordinating operations across dozens of star systems. But this was just a small part of humanity's real military structure. Show him Project Deep Shield, Li Jun ordered. Dr. Song activated her datapad. The galaxy map changed, revealing the truth that no alien suspected. What they thought were 12 human colonies were actually over 200 fortified worlds. Hidden hyperspace routes connected them all, allowing rapid movement of ships and supplies. We've been building this network for 150 years, Dr. Song said. Every human colony has orbital defense platforms. Every populated system has a fleet base. We've turned our entire territory into one giant fortress. Park Soo gasped. Even she hadn't known the full scope of humanity's preparations. How did we keep this secret? Careful planning, Choi Hana replied. We let the aliens see what we wanted them to see. Peaceful traders, cautious explorers, friendly diplomats. Meanwhile, we were watching and learning. Li Jun manipulated the display to show ship designs. We've observed every major battle the galaxy has seen in the past 50 years. We know how ethereal energy weapons work. We understand Syntheon computer systems. We've studied draconian armor and Vorthak tactics. And we've built counters for all of them, Dr. Song added with pride. The display showed a human warship, but it looked nothing like the simple cargo vessels the aliens had seen. This ship was sleek and deadly, bristling with weapons that seemed to bend reality around them. Quantum tunnel weaponry, Dr. Song explained. Our main guns can fire through folded space. The enemy sees the weapon charge, but the actual shot comes from a completely different direction. What about their ships? Day asked. The Vorthak fleet looked impressive. Size isn't everything, Li Jun replied. Their ships are big and heavily armed, but they're also slow and predictable. Our vessels can phase shift through dimensions. We can attack from angles that don't exist in normal space. Choi Hana stood and walked to a window that looked out over the underground facility. For generations, humans have known that the galaxy is dangerous. We learned early that being friendly and peaceful wasn't enough. We needed to be strong. But we also learned that showing your strength too early can make you a target, Li Jun continued. So we waited. We watched. We built our defenses in secret while presenting ourselves as harmless newcomers. Dr. Song brought up another display, this one showing battle simulations. We've run thousands of scenarios against Vorthak forces. Our victory probability is over 90%, assuming we can coordinate with allied fleets. Allied fleets? Park Soo asked. But the aliens don't trust us, Day smiled. They will after we save them. Fear makes people grateful and gratitude builds alliances. Li Jun turned to face him. Are you ready to reveal everything? Once we show our hand, there's no going back. The galaxy will never see humanity the same way again. Day thought about the terrified aliens at the council meeting. They were facing extinction because they had grown comfortable and complacent. Humanity had chosen a different path. Admiral, I've spent the last 10 years building relationships with alien leaders. I know which ones can be trusted and which ones will try to use our strength against us. It's time to show them that Earth is ready to lead. Choi Hana nodded. Then we move to phase 2 of the plan. Day will return to the council and reveal our capabilities. Our fleets will position themselves for the coming battle. What about the Vorthak? Park Soo asked. Won't they see our ships moving? Dr. Song grinned. Only if we want them to. Our stealth technology is 50 years ahead of anything else in the galaxy. We can move entire fleets without being detected. As the meeting ended, Day felt the weight of history on his shoulders. Humanity was about to step out of the shadows and take its place as a major galactic power. The scared, desperate aliens who had dismissed him at the council would soon learn that their salvation wore a human face. Prepare my ship, he told Park Soo. It's time to return to Nexus Station. The galaxy is about to discover what humans do when someone threatens our friends. The massive doors of the Galactic Council chamber slid open with a deep rumble. Ambassador Kim Day stepped inside. his black diplomatic uniform crisp and formal. The chamber was huge, bigger than any stadium on Earth. Thousands of alien beings filled the curved seats that rose up like a giant bowl around the central speaking platform. Day had been to many council meetings before, but today felt different. The aliens were scared. He could see it in their movements, hear it in their voices. Even the mighty ethereal collective, beings of pure energy who had ruled space for millions of years, seemed nervous. Park Sue, his young aide, walked beside him. She carried a data pad and looked around with wide eyes. This was only her third time in the council chamber. "Sir," she whispered, "look at how many ships are outside the station." Day had already noticed. Through the giant windows, he could see hundreds of alien warships floating in space around Nexus Station. Most were damaged. Some were missing entire sections. These were the lucky ones that had escaped from Vorthak attacks. Ambassador Kim Day of Earth announced the station's computer in perfect Korean. A small platform rose from the floor, lifting him up so all the aliens could see him. High Arbiter Veltanis floated above the crowd. The ethereal looked like a glowing cloud shaped roughly like a person. When it spoke, its voice echoed in everyone's mind rather than through their ears. "Human representative, we thank you for coming quickly." Day bowed slightly. "The honor is mine, High Arbiter. Earth stands ready to help however we can." A harsh laugh came from the Syntheon section. Chancellor Zix-9 was a robot-like being made of silver metal and glowing circuits. "Help? What help can the humans offer? You have been in space for less than 200 years. Some of us have been traveling the stars since before your species learned to make fire." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Day kept his face calm, but inside he felt a mix of anger and amusement. If only they knew the truth. High Arbiter Veltanis raised one glowing hand for silence. "Let us focus on the matter at hand. 3 days ago, the Vorthak Empire sent a message to all species in known space. They demand tribute or they will destroy us. We have seen what they can do." The main screen showed images that made even Day's stomach turn. Entire planets burned. Cities turned to ash. Millions of aliens had died in the Vorthak attacks over the past year. "The Kepler colonies fell in 6 hours, continued Veltanis. The Andromedans lasted 2 days. Even the proud warrior race of Maxilia was defeated in a week. The Vorthak fleet grows stronger with each victory." A small bird-like alien from the outer rim stood up. Its voice was high and frightened. "They gave us 7 days to decide. That was 4 days ago. We have 3 days left." Chancellor Zix-9's circuits flashed red. "The logical choice is clear. We cannot win against them. We must pay their tribute and hope they leave us alone." "No." The shout came from General Krax, a massive lizard-like being from the Draconian Empire. "We are warriors. We do not bow to bullies. And look where that pride got the Maxillians," Zix-9 replied coldly. "They are extinct. Is honor worth the death of every living being in the galaxy?" The chamber erupted in arguments. Some aliens shouted for war. Others demanded surrender. A few simply sat in shocked silence. Day watched it all, taking mental notes. These were the species that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years, and they were panicking like children. High Arbiter Veltanis struggled to restore order. Finally, the glowing being turned to Day. "Human ambassador, your species is young, but you have shown wisdom in the past. What is Earth's position on this matter?" The chamber fell silent. All eyes turned to Day. He felt the weight of their stares, the hope and desperation in their alien faces. These beings saw humans as newcomers, barely worth noticing. They had no idea what humanity was really capable of. "High Arbiter," Day said carefully, "this is indeed a grave situation. Earth takes any threat to galactic peace very seriously." "That is not an answer," growled General Krax. "Will humans fight, or will you hide behind your little worlds?" Day smiled slightly. "General, before Earth makes any commitments, we need time to properly assess the situation. I request 72 hours to consult with my government." The chamber exploded again. 72 hours? Squawked the bird-like alien. "We only have 3 days left." "Typical human caution," muttered Chancellor Zix-9. "While you debate, the rest of us must decide whether to live as slaves or die as free beings." But High Arbiter Veltanis nodded slowly. "The human request is reasonable." "Very well, Ambassador Day. You have 72 hours. But know that the Council will make its decision with or without Earth's input." "I understand completely," Day replied. He bowed again and turned to leave. As they walked back through the corridors of Nexus Station, Park Soo looked worried. "Sir, why did you ask for more time? Don't we already know what Earth's answer will be?" Day didn't answer until they were safely inside their ship. The vessel was small by alien standards, but it was one of humanity's newest designs. Hidden beneath its simple appearance were technologies that would amaze the Galactic Council. "Sue," he said once they were in his private cabin, "send a coded message to Fleet Admiral Lee Jun. Tell him the Council is even weaker than we expected. The Vorthak threat is real, but the galaxy's response is pathetic." Park Soo typed quickly on her secure terminal. "Should I include our assessment of alien military capabilities?" "Yes, and tell the Admiral that I believe it's almost time." Day moved to the window and looked out at the damaged alien fleet. These species have grown soft during their long peace. They've forgotten what real war looks like. "Sir, are we really going to help them?" Day turned back to his aide. The young woman had been with him for 2 years, but she still didn't fully understand humanity's long-term plans. "Sue, humanity has been preparing for this day since we first learned we weren't alone in the universe. We've watched these aliens for decades. We've studied their strengths and weaknesses. We know things about the galaxy that they've forgotten." He activated the ship's engines. "Set course for Earth. It's time for the Galactic Council to learn what humans are really capable of." As their ship pulled away from Nexus Station, Day felt a familiar thrill. After 150 years of careful planning and patient waiting, humanity was about to take its place on the galactic stage. The aliens thought they knew humans, but they were about to discover just how wrong they were.